this word everywhere around you, everywhere you go. Some people may think like it's only two simple words, but it's much more than that. The word is none other than peer pressure. Now, it's almost like a choose-your-own-adventure book, but instead of turning to your own chapter, you're cornered by everyone else's. Now, I know that feeling of being lost, that feeling of confusion. I, for once, was constantly flipping through other people's chapters. Think about it. We've all faced peer pressure once in our life. What is so striking about peer pressure? Well, as my French teacher likes to say, c'est la vie. It is life. Now, peer pressure is inevitable, but today I'm not here to make peer pressure immediately disappear out of our lives. I'm here to help you to overcome it, teach you how to respond to it. Now, every good book starts with an introduction. People would always ask me, where are you from? I would have to explain about my ethnicity and my nationality. And then they would ask me where I'm really from. I would explain that my ethnicity is Japanese and my nationality is American. Yet, I would feel ashamed for not knowing my cultural roots, my heritage, and my language. This added on to the peer pressure which I faced. Now let's look at another perspective. The anchor is what I like to call it. Now, what is this anchor? This anchor is none other than the source of peer pressure that anyone faces. This anchor could be someone like you, or even anyone else. Normality is defined as what we, as a major crowd, accept. What we find normal reflects on our decisions and our choices we make every single day, whether we like it or not. It's common that these anchors can spread peer pressure subconsciously or consciously. Now let's take a step back to the past. Well, whether it was the Stone Age, people were using this peer pressure. They mimicked each other, whether it was their source of observation or learning, and even socializing. Now, this need to mimic people has skyrocketed today. Now, why is that so? As we all know, we're in this generation where it's fast-paced. This generation revolves around social media. We are obliged to follow what we see, whether you want to fit in or try to be someone else. Trust me, I've been there. Now, this source of peer pressure, or what does it mainly revolve around? As we know, something called Dominos Effect. Now, what is this Dominos Effect? Well, this effect, as the name suggests, is the falling down of dominoes. Now, after each domino falls down, this fall represents how someone has succumbed to peer pressure. all want to be like other people. Moreover, peer pressure is everywhere around us. Yet, we are blind to see that it happens on a day-to-day basis. There was this boy in my class who felt as if he was the worst. He felt that he wasn't good enough. He felt as if he wasn't at par with us. Now, his confidence was so low that he didn't even try. It was as if he was on a sinking ship with no lifeboat. He felt as if he was not good enough. We were in the wrong to see that someone was suffering right in front of our eyes. That was a mistake we made. Yet, peer pressure is not just confined to the halls of classrooms, hallways. It extends and manifests to workplaces, between friendships, and even your relationships with other people. Now, overcoming this peer pressure was a journey for me. And in school, I felt as if there was a physiological labeling. I was scared whether I should show my true character or bottle it up, do something I really liked, or follow along with the trends. Now, this labeling was in the hands of another stranger. I was peer pressured. Whether if you've not been able to answer a question from your teacher, your rank will go down. Whether you had a bad hair day, your rank will go down. This physiological ranking system is prevalent in every single school, including mine. Now, is there a name to this labeling, which we perceive every single day? Well, yes, there's an answer to that. It's something called cliques. Now, we've all heard about this stigmatized, cliche, and overused term. But as an article says about a journalist, author Trevor Roman, he stated that these cliques are inevitable. These cliques harm other people's mental health, and it's everywhere around us. Overcoming question is, how did I overcome this peer pressure, or the onslaught of peer pressure? There are 3 simple steps I realized in the long run. The first step is to accept and to not be in denial. It may feel as if you've lost in this war of accepting, and I've made that mistake. And you must first accept that you've overcome this peer pressure, and then only you can analyze. Number 2, to make sure to prioritize yourself. Now, there's a very big misconception to prioritization. It may be considered selfish or greedy. Well, it's quite the opposite of that. Prioritization is like drinking water. It's so important, and it really boosts your confidence. Look around you. In this room, you'll see quite a lot of people, but do not feel that it is your responsibility to prioritize every single person. You must remember that you come first always. Each of your individual selves matter more than anyone else, and this is something which is very crucial. Now, this comes to my last point, making true friends. Now, I cannot stand on the stage today and say that making valuable friendships are easy. It's difficult. But this is a mnemonic I made to help me to create positive affirmations. As you can see, T is for trustworthy, R is for respectful, U is for understanding, and E is for empathy. Now, making true friends is so important, and it creates a positive environment. It fosters an environment where they wouldn't pressure you into anything. Throughout my life, I constantly dealt with peer pressure, and overcoming this peer pressure was not easy. Evolving towards the phoenix is not a walk in the park, or a breeze, as I would say. It's difficult. Overcoming these challenges, setbacks that life throws at you, is something that what matters is that you try. Trying to overcome these setbacks is what shapes you to be the person you are today. This is my definition of maturity. I've made true friends, surrounded myself with a positive environment, prioritized myself first, and ensured that I accepted overcoming peer pressure. Today, it may feel as if everyone's handing you the map to overcome this feeling of losing yourself in this maze. But it's you who must create your own map, your own pathway, and your own journey. I believe that everyone has their own path and their own journey to take. So ask yourself, how can you